The button was small, innocuous, and capable of erasing anyone from existence as if they had never been born. And Nobita was holding it like it was the TV remote.
Doraemon, what does this do?
Doraemon, who had been peacefully organizing his pocket's contents, looked up and immediately went pale. Or paler. It was hard to tell with blue fur.
Huh? Where did you get that? It fell out of your pocket when you were reaching for the bamboo copter. Put it down, carefully. That is the Dictator switch. It looks about as threatening as a paperweight. The Dictator switch? That sounds dramatic. It is dramatic! It's the most dangerous gadget I own! More dangerous than the time bomb?
More dangerous than the what-if phone booth? Yes! More dangerous than significantly yes! It can erase people from existence, Nobita! If you say someone's name
and press the button, they cease to exist. Not just die, cease to exist. As if they were never born. Everyone forgets them. Everything they ever
did never happened! Nobita stared at the button with new respect. Then, because he was Nobita, he asked, "What if I pressed it by accident?"
Please don't!
I'm not going to! I'm just asking hypothetically! The hypothetical is giving me a heart attack! And I don't even have a heart!
In the biological sense! Doraemon carefully, delicately, with the precision of someone disarming a bomb, took the Dictator switch from Nobita's hands. He held it like it was a sleeping dragon that could wake at any moment.
Why do you even have this? It seems irresponsible.
It was all the ticking he was that run that.
Included in my standard issue Gadget collection. I didn't ask for it. The 22nd century has some questionable product.
Can you send it back?
I've tried! The return policy expired 300 years before I was manufactured. Doraemon carefully placed the Dictator switch into the deepest, most secure section of his pouch.
Wow, that was close.
Of his fourth-dimensional pocket, the area reserved for things that should never see the light of day. It joined a small collection of other horrifying gadgets,
including the absolute total destruction bomb. Note use under any circumstances, including these.
There! It's secured! No one can accidentally...
Jian's voice came crashing through the window like an auditory avalanche.
Where's my manga? You borrowed it last week and never returned it! Give me it back right now!
Through the bedroom door, his massive frame filling the entrance, his face displaying the particular rage of someone who had been waiting for borrowed reading.
I don't have your manga! Yes, you do! I can see it on your desk! That's a...
different manga! It has my name written on it in permanent marker! So what? Finders keepers!
Give it back! I can explain!
What followed was a chase sequence that had become so
routine in the Nobi household that the furniture had learned to dodge. Jian pursued Nobita around the room, over the bed, under the desk, and through a pile of unwashed laundry that had developed its own ecosystem. In the chaos, Jian's massive hand swept across the top of Doraemon's head, reaching for the fleeing Nobita, but instead of grabbing the boy, he accidentally plunged into Doraemon's pocket, his arm disappearing up to the shoulder. What? Jian pulled his arm back out. In his hand was the Dictator switch, which had somehow migrated from the deepest secure storage to the
Dictator switch! Jian, what have you done?
accessible top layer, because fourth-dimensional storage had a sense of dramatic timing.
No!
Doraemon lunged for the gadget.
What is this?
Jian held it up, examining it with the curiosity of someone who didn't understand danger even when it was literally in his hand.
a button? Does it do
something cool?
Put it down!
Does it make money? Sunio would hate that. It erases people from existence.
Jian paused. His face cycled through several
Existence? If you say someone's name and press it, they never
existed!
That sounds useful. It's not useful. It's horrifying.
A smile spread. Don't you dare!
Nobita!
Happened. Then everything changed. The room flickered like a television losing signal. Colors shifted, sounds became muffled, and when reality reestablished itself, Nobita was simply gone. Not gone as in left the room. Gone as in had never been there. Gone as in the bed where he had been standing. He showed no signs of recent use. Gone as in his desk was empty of personal items. His name wasn't on any of the notebooks, and his existence had been surgically removed from the universe. Doraemon stood alone in a room that was suddenly his, but felt achingly empty.
What?
Looked around, confused. What am I doing here? He didn't remember Nobita. No one remembered Nobita, because Nobita had never existed. Jian, meanwhile, stood with the...
Did something just happen? I feel like something just happened. You're in my room. Why are you in my room? I don't know.
I was chasing someone? Who was I chasing?
I don't know.
Did you take my manga?
I don't think so.
Stared at each other, both feeling an inexplicable sense of wrongness that they couldn't identify.
I should go, Jian decided. This is weird.
Taking the Dictator switch with him without thinking about it. It had become just another strange object in a pocket that wasn't designed to hold it. And in the room that had once belonged to Nobita Nobi, a robot cat from the future sat alone, feeling empty for reasons he couldn't know. Across town, in a reality that had been fundamentally alterated, Shizuka Minamoto was practicing violin when she felt a sudden, inexplicable sadness.
What's wrong? With me? I feel like I'm forgetting something important. She looked out her window at the neighborhood she'd known her.
Entire life. Everything looked normal. The sky was blue, the trees were green, children were playing in the streets. But something was missing. Someone was missing. She didn't know who. She couldn't remember. But her heart ached with the absence of someone she had never known. Suneo was having a similar experience, though he expressed it differently, by buying things. He had purchased 17 different items in the last hour, trying to fill a void he had...
Something's not right. I feel like I should be bragging about something, but I can't remember what.
He tried to think of someone to feel superior to, but no one came to mind. His usual target of condescension was simply not there. It was deeply unsettling. Jian, walking home with the Dictator switch in his pocket, felt the strangest of all. He kept looking behind him, expecting someone to be there, someone to hit, someone to take things from, someone to drag to karaoke practice. But no one was there. No one had ever been there?
This is stupid,
He said to himself.
I'm imagining things.
He reached into his pocket for his house keys and touched the Dictator switch instead. The button glowed faintly under his fingers. A memory flickered, not a real memory, but an echo. A boy, glasses, always failing tests, always being chased, always somehow bouncing back despite everything. The name came from nowhere, and with the name came everything else. Jian suddenly remembered, not clearly, not completely, but in fragments. A boy named Nobita. A boy he had chased. A boy he had bullied. A boy who was gone, because Jian had pressed a button.
What did I do?
He pulled out the Dictator switch, staring at it with genuine horror. The button glowed, mockingly, as if proud of what it had accomplished.
Bring him back! How do I bring him back?
There was no instruction manual, no helpful label, just a button that erased people and apparently offered no refunds. Jian ran. He didn't know where he was going, but he had to.
I gotta run! Keep going!
He had to find someone who could fix this. He found himself at Doraemon's house, which was technically Nobita's house, except Nobita didn't exist. So it was just the Nobi residence, and Doraemon was there as what? A family pet? A lodger? The social dynamics had become confusing. Jian burst through the door, startling the robot cat who was staring at a wall with inexplicable melancholy.
You always do.
No, this time it's worse! I broke the secret gadget!
Oh, great.
Something terrible. Please leave. No, something actually terrible. With this! I erased someone!
Something stirred in his memory banks. Data that existed despite the erasure, because he was technically from outside the affected timeline.
The Dictator switch. This erases people from existence.
Yes, and I erased Nobita!
Who?
Nobita! Your best friend! The boy who lived here!
I don't have a best friend. I'm a robot cat. I was sent here to... Doraemon, what is it?
You can tell us.
The purpose of my visit was to help. Presence in this era had been tied to Nobita. Without Nobita, there was no reason for him to be here. His existence had become a...
Think! You have to remember! A boy! Short, lazy, bad at tests, always needed your gadgets!
You're describing approximately 40% of...
children in this neighborhood.
He was special!
In what way?
Jian struggled to answer. How was Nobita special? He was weak. He was cowardly.
He failed at nearly everything he attempted. By all objective measures, Nobita was remarkably unremarkable. But he was also kind, brave when it mattered, capable of surprising everyone, including himself. He was the thread that held their entire friend group together, the person everyone underestimated and everyone relied on.
He was my friend, Jian said finally, the word catching in his throat. Even when I was terrible to him, even when I hit him and took his things and made his life miserable, he was still my friend. And I erased him. Tears started falling, something that happened almost never for Jian, who...
You considered emotions to be a form of weakness. Bring him back, please. I don't know how, but you have to.
I will do everything I can.
Switch, then at the crying bully in front of him. Something in his programming suggested this was important. Something in his heart, if robots had hearts, suggested
It was essential.